You are a psychic detective, a trance medium, a healer,
Yep.
a teacher, an artist. I think you're working on a book. You have a lot of irons in the fire right now.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for a few years.
Yeah. I don't know, it goes so quick when you know someone that you connect to, through past life, and it's just wonderful. It's wonderful when you get soul connections with people, and even when you get a soul connection with your work and the modality that you choose to go in, it just flows. That's something I've found that's very important with all that I do. It's your soul has a knowing for what it wants to do in.
Yes. And I'm so happy that you have shared with me how much you love psychic detection.
Yeah,
And it's
major.
one of those things that I'm going, oh, really? Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'd love to know how you got started.
How I got started, oh, this goes back a very long time. Um, Back into my early years. By early years, I mean in Australia we call it primary school. American, it's elementary.
Mhm.
And I bought my first astrology book because something about the sun signs, I'm an Aries and I'm this. It wasn't really resonating with me. And then I bought a book on the moon. And I thought, hang on, this sounds good. And then I started doing the astrological charts. And then I noticed forensic astrology. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Forensic, you can work out what happened at a certain time, like with a perpetrator, victim, or even if you want to work out what happened between two people at a certain time. Okay, this is interesting. And I started reading books about the FBI and how they solve cases, profiling, and that all fit perfectly with the astrology, the forensic astrology. And from there, as I was doing the forensic astrology, psychically and intuitively picking into what's going on. I'm knowing what's going to happen beforehand. And in through that came mediumship, and everything just evolved. So you could say psychic detection was one of my launching pads into what I do, along with tarot. That was like, I realized the tools when I began were really good. And as through development, as you develop, tools, they're still helpful and you do use them. However, you don't need them as much for the reading. They're not based on the reading as your soul develops and able to read and connect with the spirit world. And that's what detection really is. It's for me personally, and a lot of mediums I know, connecting with I'll say victim, just to keep it simple, connecting with the victim to give the victim a voice, to send healing to the loved ones that want answers, that just they're lost, they're confused, they don't know what happened, their loved one's gone missing. Are they alive? Are dead? Did they want to go on purpose? Have they transitioning? Are they transitioning? There's so many questions. And it just to help them and even find them and bring them back to their families. It's rewarding in itself when you see the family just happy. And it and also on another note, when you do find the body, if it's been transitioned, just to be able to give a mediumship reading, pass some messages along, that in itself is transformational for the family. So if anyone's attracted to psychic detection for crime scene photos, it's the wrong way. You're not doing it for the right intent, and nor will you be seeing many crime scene photos. The most you will see, you'll be given a name, a date, or a location, maybe not all. At most, the photo you will get is a photo of the victim. And from there, you read the photo. Photo reading is a big aspect in detection, learning the two sides of the face and how to interpret that. And from there, just from soul's knowing, because each photo, it's been believed, and I actually believe it myself too, it can capture the soul. Now, in that, it doesn't steal the soul. I don't want to come across the wrong way. It's not, but it can capture the soul, the essence of the person in the photo, especially within the eyes. But I just want to make sure it's not stealing anybody's soul photos. So you can all take your photos, go on Facebook. It's all good. Yeah.
That is fascinating. I had no idea you started in primary school.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
No, astrology, I love it. And that just,
And
everything just went bang from there. Yeah.
had no idea there was such thing as forensic psychic or forensic astrology.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it's used a lot for mapping, for finding bodies, for what happened to the victim, where the crime happened or the incident happened, what the perpetrator looks like physically, what happened, and all the houses, if anyone's aware of astrology, will help you with that. And it's not like, for example, just for those who know astrology very quickly, the moon is the victim and the sun is the perpetrator, and
Oh,
then the descendant and it all from there. Yeah, that's
wow.
just a very brief.
Is there always going to be a victim and a perpetrator in this work? Okay.
They're just very basic examples
Okay.
I'm giving. No, they are not always victims and perpetrators. There are some that transition by their own hands,
Okay.
uh, and that's what it is. And through that, they can bring that in. I'm trying to think how to word this properly, but in when someone by their own hands transitions, it is healing for the family when their loved one speaks to them and explains why. And spirit will never come through and say, "Oh, it was because of this and it was your fault," and blah blah blah. It's none of that. And they'll a lot of the time when I go into trance, I see where they are and it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And that message comes through. They are at
Yeah.
peace. What caused the transition to happen no longer exists. So it's not always victim, and sometimes there's accidents and
Right.
being treated as, that it's every crime is treated, or accident, the suicide, anything real, it's always treated as a homicide at
Okay.
first. It's
At
investigated that
first.
at first. Yeah.
I see. Because what if somebody dies, let's say in a snowstorm or something, or maybe even in a fire, right?
Yeah. The first thing that will happen with the police, they'll interview everyone close to the person because that's the first way to go. And we always come in, the psychic detectives, the mediumship, it all comes in when family come to us because they're not happy with the answers from the police and they know there's more or believe there's more. And
Hmm.
police do come, at the total hierarchy of law enforcement we deal with when they're stuck or when they need confirmation on what they've
Hmm.
got. It's not making sense to them, where a psychic medium could go into a next level for them and explain it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's really good when you're in your group and you get some evidence and then you pass it on to the police and it matches up because they never released it in the papers. So
Oh,
that's great information for the police also.
okay.
Yeah,
And do you usually work in groups so that you get multiple people, or more, is it usually just one person that works for the police or both?
equal. It's
Okay.
equal. So 50%, 50%. You can work on your own, but it is nice when you're in at least have someone. It doesn't have to be a psychic detective, but a psychic medium to bounce what you've got off. Because you can
Yeah.
say something and then they can come back with, and then it just all of a sudden explodes. And then when you have a group, you find the coherence. Something, no, but don't speak. Everyone, right? Go into whichever way you work psychically, mediumship, soul to soul. Whatever you do, go into that, come out, write down what you've got, read it out, and you'll find where everyone's the same. And there will be discrepancies, but those discrepancies just may be misinterpretations of something that's happened. But when you get the over 50% of the, say, 3 people, 4 people, even 5 people, 10 people, they're all getting the same answers, you know,
Wow.
you're on the
I
right dimension, you're on the right timeline. Timeline
well,
is also another thing that's quite important. Uh, in terms of timelines, it's when I start doing my work, I ask to be on the timeline that the victim, or I'll just use victim and perpetrator for simplicity, that they were on at the time of the incident. Because as we know, with the psychic, there's a number of free will avenues. There could have been this choice, and they're all happening simultaneously to bring me into the one that happened and to stay on there and not be veered into another wrong one. And you find a number, I'll say about 55, 60% of astrology, I love astrology, psychic detect, yeah, to stay on, yeah, when you do psychically, just to stay on the timeline of that event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I mean, even on Earth right now, would you think that there's multiple timelines going on right now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. No,
Oh,
we have our souls in different timelines, living out different lives. Some trauma may not have happened in one because of a decision. One would have happened, and we're living them all out. That's how our soul's learning. It's not just this vessel here. There's our soul is very expansive. And
yeah.
the soul knows the answer. That's also something else that's important for detection. The answer's there. It's a matter of tapping into it. You've got the answer. Your soul knows, because that's what psychic is. A psychic's just the knowing, and it's there, the answer. It's a matter of interpretation and which modality you use. And I've seen just people do squiggles on a page that don't look like something a sketch artist would do, and that itself can solve the crime because those squiggles start looking like the road that it was on. So,
Yeah.
and that was just by letting the hand do, it's no picture, it's not like a face or a beautiful scenery of mountains, nothing like that. Just a few
Wow.
squiggles. Oh, that still looks like the road that goes where they're kidnapped, and there it is. So it's not like people think you really have to be super developed in like being a sketch artist or know about all. And the one thing I really must repeat is it's not a gory area. Like I get asked, how can you do that? How can you do that? It's no more scary or anything than just doing plain mediumship, because that's what you're doing. You're connecting and getting the story. The same way you would give evidence in a mediumship reading and pass on a message, or any way you do it, trance, same thing. That's you, and you can't be harmed. Because people think you can be harmed, and that no,
No.
nothing like that at
Right.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Right. Right.
all
Of course, soul
right
can't be.
around. Yeah.
Hmm. So, what skills do you feel like? So you talked about mediumship, you talked about trance, you talked about um, drawing. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you combine so many skills to do that, to do the work as a
Yeah.
psychic detective.
That's me personally. I like to combine and just feel into it and see where I'm going, what I need to do, and just by feeling into my soul, where's this going? How am I doing it? But some people, tarot, they go straight. They actually call themselves forensic tarot readers, and there's some that just do astrology, and through astrology you can do your intuition, and some actually don't do intuition. They're just very mathematical, dun, 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 which is still very helpful for a psychic, because then you can intuitively go into the chart. What else is there? Trance. There's healing, to heal the
Yeah,
spirit on the other side, healing for the loved ones. Through healing the spirit, you can get the answers from the spirit, straight from
yeah,
spirit. And that's
yeah.
amazing stuff. Some people, it's been taught a lot just to do it psychically, but you find if you can really blend with the spirit person who's crossed over, they start showing you what it is you need to know for the highest good of those that are still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to help. It's a healing. It's a very healing modality in all this work.
Wow. Because I feel like when you're talking about this, I want to put a nurse hat on you. I mean, I know doctors are healing, there's all shaman healing, but I don't know. I just want to put a nurse hat on you, like all the healing work that's happening. Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful,
So that's
truly.
a reason I really love it. I just love speaking for spirit, and I love helping the families with answers to move forward and
Yeah.
not be stuck guessing where are they, what happened, and living the rest of their life like that when they have their loved one right next to them that's dying to tell them, who really wants to tell them. So we can, that bridge of love can come together, and they can move on in life knowing what happened. I believe the closure will never happen, like, oh, that's what happened, but the knowing will be there, and acceptance, a bit more of an acceptance can happen,
Oh yeah.
and integration into their soul and
Yeah.
understanding. Yeah.
Beautiful. Really, that is it. That's beautiful. Um, does it matter if what you're talking about in the cases, if they're local or around the world, or does that matter at all?
It's the way I would say it, if you're working on a local case, don't post anything on your social media or get it out there that you're working on it. No,
Oh,
this is a true story. I'll just quickly tell it. I won't tell it
it's
in a
okay.
long way. A lady, it was a local case she was working on, and they found out, the criminals found out that she was going around talking about how she's working on the case, and that one of them came for a reading. They were perpetrators, and shot her in the head because she was
Oh,
going
wow.
around. But wait, she survived and started reading within 8 months again. And but then, and someone else came and asked her, oh, do you know anything about X case? You know, what's going on? And she says, no, I don't talk about that. I don't work on that anymore. I'm not doing that. They stood up with a gun and said, right answer, keep saying that. So I do not recommend putting on social media or talking to everyone. Oh, you know the case that happened down the road or in the suburb next to you? Yeah, yeah, I'm working on that. And I think this person or this person, because it goes around. And that's just by what I've seen. It's not, if somebody's got dementia and gone missing, that's different, because that's like a positive. People will want to help and go along with that. But just if
Wow.
it's what you call a criminal case, don't advertise anything that you're doing it.
Okay.
Only go to police or law enforcement, any connection you have that way.
Okay. Yes. Wow. Oh my gosh.
International,
That's yeah.
yeah, you can talk bit openly, but to the right people.
I see. Got it.
Confidential. The ones you know will keep it confidential.
Yes. And does it matter? Like I remember my friend Allison Gannon, who was my very first mediumship teacher years ago, but she took me to a place where somebody got kidnapped. And she wanted me, to feel around and, the energy. And I wasn't, I mean, it was okay, but I felt like I maybe didn't want, I don't know, I just wasn't ready to feel all that in a way. So, but does it matter to actually have that opportunity to be in that place where things happened, or does that, or maybe that doesn't matter, or doesn't help?
It can enhance the, because there'll be a psychic stain of the energetic stain of what happened, and you'll be able
Yes.
to do it. You just feel it. You'll know as soon as you, because when something traumatic happens, the energy stays, and it's there imprinted. Even if it was to
Mm.
happen in a house and that house gets knocked down, a new house gets built, it's still there.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
still tap into it, even though there's a new house. If you wanted to try something as an experiment, you could go into someone's house, your house, even if someone's owned it before you, and go and step into the corner, in the corner. Just go in the corner, and you see,
Uh-huh.
because that's where all the energy is going and being trapped of what's happened in the room.
Okay.
And you're amazed what comes out. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Even if it's,
so interesting. But corners, because I see spirits in corners a lot.
yeah, corners are a hotspot, I guess you could say, for energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
Uh,
residue and energy.
right, right. Well, that's why I sit in a corner. I sit in a corner here
Yeah,
because of that reason.
yeah, yeah. So all the spirit, love, everything, what's connected with you, will all be there.
Uh-huh.
Everything will be there, making it easier to access. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing going on location. You're accessing the energy of who was there, what happened. It's now imprinted. So yeah,
God. And what about time? I mean, like if let's just say it was 100 years ago versus yesterday. Does that matter?
still the same. The
Okay.
energy is, there's no such thing as, we would know, no such thing as time and space.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's there. I'm trying to think of a case or something. It was, no, I'm just saying, doesn't matter. Cold cases are actually good to work on, because what happens, and even in current cases, but cold cases more, I find, you can't solve a case within a day. I've never
Uh-huh.
seen that day. It comes in one day, you may work on it for an hour and get some pretty good hits. And then 2 days later, bang, and you're not even, or you do it, and then you come across and you notice what you wrote or what you drew from before. Because spirit have a way of working with words and drawings also. It's like tarot. They can make you see something you didn't realize, or some word just on the page that you wrote will just go bang, and it will come out to you more than it did when you actually wrote it. You didn't know what it meant when you wrote it, because you're just like automatic writing and letting whatever flow. It will come out, even a little squiggle, and you'll go, that squiggle's the road. Or she had a tattoo, or he had a tattoo with that squiggle, and just know. Leave, it comes in bursts. And in that, yeah, so it's very rare to solve a psychic detection case within 2 hours. You
Uh-huh.
can get the ball rolling, but to
Okay.
solve it, yeah, it takes longer than that.
Wow. I mean, this is fat. I'm just loving this truly. And it's not gory. I'm okay. You know what I mean? It's good. It's all good. Great, really. What do you think? I mean, could anybody be a psychic detective, do you think, if they had the interest, is what I mean, if they wanted
Oh,
to?
yeah. The correct interest too. I have come, unfortunately, they have a different morals to me, and their motivations different to me. They're actually attracted to the gory side, I guess I could call it, the crime side, the dark side, and what happened here on Earth side of what happened. And you find they don't get hits because they're too fascinated by the
Uh-huh.
images they're getting in their head of what's happening. And no, it's like me, when I do get an image, I've learned with time to completely detach from what I've just seen. At times, I put myself into the mind of the criminal or the victim and see what they're seeing at the time, or even an hour beforehand. What's the energy in the room like prior? What's happening prior? Like time travel to
Uh-huh.
date and time, and what's happening to the lead up. And
Mm.
if you're got your guides in place, they're working for your highest good, and they're only letting you experience what's for your highest good and that of others. They're not showing you things that are going to freak you out, and not, you'll only be shown, if you have the correct intent, what you yourself can handle. If you won't be shown anything gory, if that's not what you want,
Uh-huh.
you'll be protected from any images like that.
Yeah.
You might just get it verbally decapitated, but you won't see it. You might just
Got
get
it.
the word, and then
Sure.
the word will stop there. You won't get any more anything from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not something to be really frightened of. Some people seem to be like that, but no, it's a good way to me. It's a lovely way just to see the relief when family and
Yeah.
spirit can speak to one another over
Yeah.
something that's been tormenting and causing
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
It's actually a beautiful
Yeah.
reunion, I'll call it.
Yeah, and you're one I would trust because having worked with you, I don't know, a few years, we have our monthly, at least monthly gathering where we connect with each other, even though you're in Australia and I'm in Texas. Um, but so I know you pretty well, and I know the quality of your work. And I've always been impressed with you and the integrity, the quality in your devotion to your work. So thank you for doing all that. And wow. I mean, it makes me want to learn from you.
Oh, so much more I could say. I could speak for the next 3 hours about it. I just love detection to bits. Yeah. No, it's very
Yeah.
rewarding, very rewarding.
Yeah. So now if somebody had a case now and they're watching this and they have a case, uh, would that be okay if they contacted you?
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. They
Okay.
can contact me on my email address, which you could see on the Zoom link how it's spelled. Malena, Malena dot Tancevski, Tancevski at iCloud.com and
Oh,
send me
okay.
what it is you're interested in knowing.
Oh,
I
good.
also
I'll put that down too. I'll write that out and I'll put it in the bottom of the video, so people can do that. And I mean, I know we're not done, but I just want to get that out there in case, somebody's got, oh my God, I gotta call, I gotta call, gotta talk to you. And let's see what else. Well, what else do you want to share about it? Is there something else here that you
yeah,
think is
just with
really?
Yeah, with that, if anyone wants to reach out to me, I do work alone, confidential with complete confidential, and don't share it. So, and no, I do that, and I honor that. Also, I do work with two teams, two international teams, psychic detection international teams. One is my own, and another one is we formed through doing a lot of mentorships with Tony Stockwell, if you're aware of him, who's an industry leader in this. Uh, yeah, so there's two teams I'm in. If you'd like to take the case to the team, me work on it first, maybe then to the team, see how you resonate with feedback, or I can work on it myself and I would use the forensic, like all my modalities that I feel correct and get back to you. We could have a Zoom meeting, you know.
Oh, oh my God,
And I don't charge.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because it's
I
an
don't
exchange.
I don't
Yeah.
have a set price, but I do accept donations.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, I mean, really fascinating. Well, is there anything else you want to share about the work itself or anything at all? I mean, because really, truly, I feel like I want to hear this story. Remember being in Australia, you have some words that are a little different.
Oh,
But
wow,
you told me the story about a car.
the elephant. Yeah, in Australia, it was one of the first cases I worked on in a group. We're going back into, I don't know how many years now, a while ago, that's not important. And in America, you call the back of the car where you put your shopping and the bikes and the pram and everything, the trunk. In Australia, we call it the boot. And I'm working with a group. I'm in a breakout room. There's four of us, and they're talking about the trunk, the trunk, the trunk, the trunk of the trunk. They're not saying car, they're saying trunk. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, how did the elephant get in this? I'm not picking up on the elephant. And it's like, and I'm, but it took me a long time. And then when we went back into the main room to give what we got, I actually said, no, I'm completely off. I don't know where the elephant came from. And then everyone like, where you going? And just laughed. I mean, broke out because I explained the trunk and the boot. They go, it's the boot, it's the back of the car, and also you learn things like in Australia, we'll call it a restraining order, what you say in America, we would call it an AVO. So it's nice to work also with people from other countries. You learn what they call different protection orders and charges. There's all different names like jail. We don't spell jail Jail. It's
Yeah.
JOAL. So things like that. It's or spelt different. Yeah,
Oh
little
my
things
God.
like that. So it's good to have international, but I've adapted now. If it wasn't for the movies of America, it'll be a different language. But I've adapted, like if I'm dealing with an American client, I would put trunk and I would put, jail, JIL. I know what.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. Let me just see here. What I know it. Well, oh, and do you teach? Are you
Yeah.
teaching?
Yes, I have a circle currently. It's on Australian Thursday time, 11 a.m. I'm in Sydney, Australia, and that's a Australian Eastern Standard Time, AEST. And for America, it's around 6, 7 p.m., depending where you're from. So my
Yeah.
Thursday would be your Wednesday night.
Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
But I am happy to organize a new group at a new time to have
Uh-huh.
a day for American or British around the world, basically Northern Hemisphere, a daytime one. So I'm looking to start another one as well. Because so many people want to get into and they feel lost. And the best advice I could ever give is no matter what modality you go in, mediumship, psychic detection, whatever pulls you, do not be afraid to open your mouth and say what you got. It took me, I've been developing for over 20 years now, like formally, and it took me 3 years to actually get into my head, I should open my mouth and say what I've got. 3 years to work out, I'll open my mouth and be honest and say what I've got. And that's the big lesson, I think, in all this work we do, every modality, just say it. So if you want to work on your own case, see how you go, like the news, something's happening on the news, follow it, see, make your own little notes. You can even do a little sketch and follow how it pans out. But remember, they don't always tell the truth. They do put false information out. So even if you're getting something a bit off, that could actually be the truth you've got. And at the end, that's when all the truth comes out. And then you can go back to your developmental notes and go, oh, okay, now I know the truth's out. I know why I got it that then. Yeah. But
Wow. Well, there's a lot of that going on around the
yeah,
world.
yeah, false information. Because they want to send the perpetrator off thinking that the police aren't even, they're on a different lead, and to give them the confidence to do it, to come out and be shown and things like that. Or they say, we're onto you. If they're escalating, to stop. It's different. Yeah, media is manipulated by, I could say, the police, if I'm allowed to.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because I mean, that would be so fascinating to do this and just to go into like there was that recent shooting, the United Healthcare CEO. I don't, you may or may not know about that, but he was a beautiful young man in his 20s that did the shooting, and it's a long story, but anyway, he's caught now. But it would have been fun in a way, or interesting, to try to tune in as a psychic investigator where he
Yeah,
is, you know,
yeah, yeah.
and maybe
So
even
yeah,
where he is now, how he's doing now too, in a way.
yes. So that case there would be good for I'll say a good exercise would be to I'll go on the internet, YouTube, anything, find a case you know nothing about and
Mm.
just read the
Oh.
beginning of it, what happened, and then
Mhm.
put it away. And you work on it. And when you get to your conclusion, pull it out or listen to it, whatever you've got it on, and see how you went. And then you start to learn the feelings of what a gunshot feels like. The
Uh-huh.
feeling, how your body or how your soul registers that act or that feeling that will come to you. Maybe you'll see it. Maybe a gunshot to you might feel like a tingle where it happened. Some people might get a sharp pain, and you learn to recognize the feelings of what's happened.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh
Or
my
where the
gosh.
cold, you might go, okay, this could be a fridge, cold water. Or maybe you get the opposite. Sometimes I got the opposite. I felt cold, but the body got burnt. It
Oh,
way it can work
yeah.
that way. It was just showing to me extreme temperature, the spirit
Uh-huh.
or
I see. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I
that's
see a
all
cat
with
that's,
that's
yeah,
all with but
you learn it. You learn.
yeah, develop it. As you develop, you start learning. Okay, I know my sign points. I know what this is. Last time, and you start thinking about cases you've seen, and even like say if you're doing a case and you think back to something that you heard on the news 5 years ago, don't dismiss that. That's applicable. Or even
Mhm.
if you think back to a fight that happened when you were in high school, there's something about that fight that happened with the two people that would be applicable to the case.
Uh,
Guides don't just put all that in your head randomly to
right.
trick you or something. That's not true. You'll be
Right.
remembering back to something for a reason and integrate that into what you're getting. Yeah.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so, so grateful for you to share your wisdom and knowledge with all of us. And um, I'm just so thankful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for having me on. I really enjoyed it. And I'd love to be on anytime. And
Oh, yeah.
if anyone wants to contact me, just email, or you could go onto my Facebook page and send me a PM or Instagram DM that way. It's just Malena.Tanceveski, medium astrologer. Anyway, I've got a few ways you can contact me, and yeah, I can take your case from there. Or if you want to learn, or if I'm mentoring also, I do one-to-one mentoring. So if you want, reach out in any way, if you have any questions, don't be shy. I'm not scary, I promise you. And you can take it from there if you're interested in anything at all.
Oh, beautiful. And I'll
Answers.
put your information below. Okay. So it'll be all written out for
Yeah.
everybody too. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was nice. Thank you.
Thank you.